What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about the Norwegian healthcare system versus America's healthcare system. And our two systems could not be more different. I really tend to get kind of worked up when talking about these kinds of things because America really tends to think that it's the biggest and best at a lot of things in the world, but it is horrible at healthcare. And we can easily look over to Norway and see how Norway is doing its healthcare system, and we could use that as some kind of inspiration, but we don't. Things just stay the same in America with the healthcare because there's a lot of healthcare businesses making a lot of money on it in America, and they don't want that to change. So, from my understanding, healthcare in Norway, if you are a Norwegian citizen and a Norwegian taxpayer, you are getting universal healthcare. You are getting covered. You're getting the care you need, and that's all you have to do. You have to live in Norway, be a citizen, pay your taxes, and you're good to go. This could not be more different than America. Doesn't matter if you pay your taxes in America, you have to purchase health insurance. Some people get it through their job, but a lot of people have to purchase private health insurance plans that we all have to make monthly payments on. And then, when we're living our life and something bad happens and we go to the hospital, we whip out our health insurance card and we talk to the person at the desk and find out if our service that we need, our health care that we desperately want, if that's covered by our insurance plan or not, or if we're going to have to pay out of pocket exorbitant, crazy amounts of money. So, I don't know. This is a video I found of CNN in America. They did a little segment highlighting healthcare in Norway and how it compares to healthcare in America. And I'm going to be a bit entertained to see how the American news reporters kind of frame all of this. But you kind of can see my opinion, my stance, and honestly, I think almost all Americans agree that the healthcare system in America is a total joke. The care you get is good. It's really just the fact that we live in a first world country, one of the biggest economies in the world, and there's many, many people who are not getting the care they need or going into lifelong crippling debt for the rest of their days, which just doesn't seem right, does it? So, with that being said, let's take a look at this video.
Well, tonight we continue with our series of reports on the quality of healthcare in other countries and how they compare to healthcare in this country.
Oh, she said the quality of healthcare. That is not really a huge problem in America. The care you get is high quality, like same as Norway. Like when you get into the doctor's office or the operating room, you're gonna have a world-class doctor or someone who's really fantastic at their job, healthcare workers, doing a great job. That's not the problem in America.
Tonight, Norway. Norway ranked 8th in a European quality of healthcare survey. Life expectancy in Norway is 80 and a half years.
Wow.
Norway's universal care system, though, is mostly funded by public money, and the tax rate reflects that.
Yeah. Even in Norway, the hospitals are owned by the state, by the government. In America, there's lots of private hospitals that are literally ran like a business. That is scary. The hospital is trying to make money off of you in America. That's just a scary thought that when you go to a hospital, you're at their whim. This is a product. If you're in trouble and you need healthcare, you need to buy their product, and they know that. So it's just like a crazy situation where you feel kind of powerless. Anyway, I'll try not to ramble on too long. Let's continue.
Norway has an income tax rate of more than 45%.
Wow.
In Norway, the government provides universal health care to all citizens.
Wow, 45% income tax rate. That is high. That is high, but I guess the question is, are Norwegian citizens okay with that? And it sounds like they are. And if the trade-off is you don't have to worry about your health care, I think a lot of Americans would be open to it.
But a common problem patients encounter in such a single-payer system, long wait times for elective procedures.
The big problem in Norway is whether or not you can get the care. Waiting lists are extensive. They've actually passed a law to require that people be evaluated within 30 days.
Huh. I've heard of this as like a concern. Like sometimes Americans point to this. They're like, well, if we had universal health care and everyone had free health care that they could go get at any time for no cost, everyone would be going to the doctor and there'd just be too many people trying to get care because it's free, and the wait times would be too long. So it's interesting that that is pointed out in this little segment. I wonder if the wait times in Norway are a bit longer than in the United States. But even if they are, I assume Norway has a system to prioritize people who need help the most. And then they were saying, you know, some of these are elective procedures that you're choosing to do. Some of those things take even longer. But hopefully, I think Norway prioritizes the people who need the most help, I would assume.
Norway, a wealthy country of more than 4.5 million people, came up with an innovative solution to their waiting problem.
Government took action, and so they will actually send you to Sweden or to Denmark to get that procedure done if you're one of those people that might have a long waiting list. And
oh, wow. Is this still happening? I know this news report is a little old. Does Norway have a relationship with Sweden and Denmark where if there are a lot of patients who need help or care or a procedure, they can outsource it to hospitals and healthcare in Sweden and Denmark? That's brilliant. That's a fantastic way to do it. It's like becoming a team or something and conquering the problem. That's awesome. I didn't even think of that as a solution.
they'll pay for the transportation fees and things like that.
The Norwegian government will also pay for whatever care the doctor deems medically necessary. Norway spends more on health care per capita per person than any other European country.
Norway spends more money on health care per person than any other European country. That's all you got to see. It's like Norwegians might be spending a lot in taxes, paying a lot of taxes, but in return, Norway is using that money right back onto the people to pay for healthcare. So it's like, I'm sure some Norwegians get a little annoyed at the high taxes, but trust me, when you get that healthcare that you need and you don't have to pay, that is just, to Americans, that would be so worth it. That'd be the most relieving stress off of us to just have that certainty of knowing, okay, I broke my arm or I came down with cancer and I can go and I can get treatment and I'm not going to have to sell my house or something. That's just priceless.
At $4,763, second only to the United States, which spends $7,290.
The idea is that everyone pays into the Norwegian healthcare system. Again, everyone gets covered with generous benefits, and everyone gets care.
The generous benefits include free hospital stays.
Free hospital stays. Oh my gosh. That like every little thing, it just makes me laugh. It's like, if you want to, when you're at the hospital in America, you are literally like on the edge of your seat. Like, I got to get home. This hospital room is costing me like a lot of money every day I spend here. Now, if you have health insurance, you're not going to be totally out of luck. Health insurance will cover like 70-80% of your costs. But if you need a procedure or if you're getting charged like $100,000, your health insurance will only cover so much. Like, you could still end up having to owe $30,000, $20,000, which most people don't have. So even with insurance, even with health insurance, you can be in a lot of trouble. And if you don't have health insurance, Like a lot of people who are financially struggling in America, you can't go to the doctor. You can't go in. You can't, or else you'll literally be bankrupt. Like it's the craziest thing.
Free prescription drugs and sick pay.
Free prescription drugs. Buying prescription drugs in America is probably one of the biggest businesses in America. You are allowed to run advertisements and commercials on TV for prescription drugs. Ask your doctor for this drug, and then you have to go buy it. And if it's a drug you really need, you're going to have to shell out the money.
If you become sick for up to a year, the government will effectively, and your employer will effectively pay your salary.
Healthcare.
What? What? That is the most Norwegian thing I've ever heard. That is, oh my God. I mean, that right there shows how different it is between Norway and America. In Norway, if you're sick, even up to a year, the government and your employer will help pay your salary, keep you employed. In America, like you only have like 2 weeks of sick day or less. Like you can only be sick so much. You better go back to work or you're going to get fired. There's none of this. That blows my mind. Like it couldn't be more different.
Costs consume 8.9% of GDP versus 16% of GDP in the U.S. The health system, known as the National Insurance Scheme, is financed by general tax revenue. Norwegians also pay a small co-payment for outpatient treatment. Private insurance.
Right. But I also heard that Norwegians might have to pay a small copay, but only so much, up to a limit for the year. And then you don't have to pay any more, if I understand correctly. I don't know. This whole thing's blowing my mind, and it's making me... It doesn't take much for me to get worked up about the American healthcare system, and this is doing it.
Norwegians also pay a small co-payment for outpatient treatment.
You know, and it's also like, I watched a video a while back where it's why Norwegians love paying their taxes. And this is part of that. It's because they know it's going to something very good. When Americans pay taxes, half the time we don't even know what it's going towards. If it was going towards our healthcare, that would be such a relief.
Private insurance does not play a significant role in Norway. 30,000 people are estimated to have supplemental private insurance. Most people in Norway are relatively pleased with their generous health benefits.
Wow. And Norwegians are happy with it too. Wow. And there's not much private health insurance, In America, health insurance plans and hospitals, healthcare is a business in America. People are trying to make money. And when anything is driven by money, you don't want something like healthcare to be a business. Like, it's a business that everyone needs to buy from. You're literally at their whim. So so it's not good when they can control all the prices. And I don't know.
Norwegians actually seem fairly satisfied.
Yeah.
Overall,
You think? What? The Americans here sound like almost surprised. Like, the Norwegians seem to be happy with this. Like, yeah.
There are frequent complaints about the waiting list, but by and large, Norwegians don't seem to be particularly inclined to uproot or to make drastic changes to their system.
And also with systems like this, it seems like the distribution of healthcare is more fair. Like in America, if you're rich, you can get all the healthcare you need. You are apparently a more important citizen if you are really rich. You can just hire doctors and you can just pay for the procedures, and you're going to probably be first in line, or you can hire private doctors. And it's just, if you're poor, if you're not in a good financial situation in America, that's where it's like more attention needs to be brought to that. The people who are really struggling because of how the American healthcare system favors the wealthy.
The Norwegian government, though, is fairly explicit about the fact that it rations care. It has a medical ethics board that has suggested that money is better spent serving as large of a number of people as possible rather than spending most of the money on a few with very expensive conditions.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of touches on what I was talking about, where Norway is just trying to take the healthcare that they have available and do the most good possible. Whereas in America, like, that's not the mission. It's just like the mission is to run your hospital and give it to the people who have the correct insurance plan or pay the most money or whatever. It's a totally different culture. Anyway, that's the end of that video. That was a very interesting video. And kind of funny that it was an American news station talking about it, making the comparisons. This is by Ken KW101, and I liked that video. An old television broadcast. Let's take a look at some of the comments here, actually. Anybody comments? 42%. Most people in Norway pay 30%. Okay. Less than I thought. Like, income tax? Yeah, 42% is crazy. Is it more like 30% income tax in Norway? Wow, even better. The healthcare system here is light years ahead of the USA. I can't say that enough. High quality, super cheap or free, beautiful facilities, nice friendly staff. Yeah, like, it's like a dream too good to be true. But it's true we could have it in the USA too. That's the thing. I think that's the worst part of it. We could have a system like Norway's in America, but we just choose not to because there's too many big businesses, too many health insurance businesses, too many pharmaceutical companies selling drugs to Americans. There's just too much money. And so that's not going to change by the people in charge. Let me see here. Income tax is about 28%, not 45%. Okay, that's a big deal. That's a big difference. Like, it's not nearly as big as the Americans made it seem. I've never been treated so well in my life as I was in the hospital in Norway. I felt I was treated like a prince. So the care in Norway is fantastic as well. In my experiences, the care in America, the couple of times I've had to go to hospitals or the ER or something, the care was good. I was happy. I was very happy. These days, does seem to be a little bit of a nurse shortage. And that can cause you to have to wait to get a room because there's no nurses to take you. So that's becoming a problem. Income tax is 36, not 45. With regard to the waiting list, it's pretty quick here too. For example, I had an emergency surgery on my shoulder. The initial surgery was slow and took 2 days. It seems like the waiting times in Norway could be long, but they're faster if you really need help. Like, however severe your problem is, which makes sense, honestly. I lived in Norway for 3 years. I experienced excellent medical and dental services in 6 different parts of the country. Each time it cost me about 1/6 of the price it would have been charged in my country. I'm not sure where that person's from, but much, much cheaper in Norway. Even for a non-citizen, by the sound of it. Oh, National Insurance Scheme. It's called the National Insurance Plan. Okay, very good. Anything else here? It can be hard to get a specialist. Same as in America. Exactly the same. I can tell you things about Norway that you might be surprised to hear. 14-year-old boy from Norway. Norway is not a perfect, but no country is like Norway. It has so many great things. Okay. They say in the video there's free healthcare. Okay. Well, it's not technically free, is it? Like, you are paying taxes. It's not free, per se. Like, you do have to pay your taxes. So, people do call it free healthcare a lot in America. Huh. But, either way, I live in Norway. I'm very pleased with our healthcare, especially compared to the US system. We get free help. We don't need insurance. Medicines are free. Surgeries are free. Yeah, oh my gosh. That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. Most Americans agree with everything I'm saying. It's just like, for some reason, it seems like an issue that's so deeply ingrained in American culture that it's not going to change. There's too much money in it. The businesses are running the healthcare. So they're the ones in a lot of power, and they're not going to change it anytime soon. But it's fun to learn about how healthcare can be done better, especially Norway's healthcare system, how much better it is and how good things could be. That's at least fun to learn about and see. It can be a little depressing for Americans, but very, very admirable. I do enjoy learning about it. So anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway or Norwegian culture or stuff in Norway I've never seen before or learned about, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.